Hello, good morning. Hope you're all well. It's Friday, it's bright and sunny, and looking forward to the weekend. My name's Bally Atwell-Mann. Most of you might know me as your account manager. So I look after the actual Northeast, Scotland and Edinburgh for the practices for the compliance software. Today I have my colleagues online with me, Nick Brown from the pre-sales team, and also Ryan Ellis as well from the digital team. So today, what we were doing is exploring the incredible benefits of the tax return bundle. So what we'll showcase in the webinar, which Nick will actually run through an actual demo for you, is what it looks like, how it can help you and your practice drive efficiencies, save time in conjunction with using, well, the OneClick portal as well, which I said we'll showcase afterwards. So hopefully we've got past another busy season on tax returns. Many of you are looking forward to a busy personal tax season, and probably considering using the actual tax return bundle if you're not also doing so. This is a free feature within personal tax. If you're aware or not aware, it can standardize your processes and drive efficiencies. So Nick, shall I hand over over to you for a demo,
Great.
please?
Thanks, Bally. Good morning, everyone. And it looks like we've just reached over 100 participants, which is great. So I really appreciate you taking this time and for your attention. My role is to assist the account managers, Bally, who some of you might know, and I deliver demonstrations across the suite. My background is tax accountancy. My comfort zone is tax, but I demo across everything: accounts, tax, COSEC, audit. And today the focus is the tax return bundle. We're going to warm up with I want to give you 3 tips that hopefully will help you. You're obviously engaged users of the software. You're on this demo, on this webinar, which is great. So I'm going to consider you an engaged super user. So I'm just going to share my screen. So tip number 1, hopefully I'm trusting you that you know about the personal tax groups. And of course, having said all this, this is being recorded and you can contact your account manager for all of this information. And often the account manager will get me involved in health checks with our current customers. But if I go to groups, our focus today is personal tax. So let's go to my personal tax group. And I'm trusting some of this isn't alien to some of you. But in the ideal world, you would join the personal tax group, and when you join it, you can decide whether you get a weekly email or an every post. I've got mine set for weekly, so every Monday morning I get useful information. Let's go into this group. And one of the key people posting to this group is our product owner. And we can see here, 10th of March, it's all relevant for the season where we are in the year, 2025 information request mail merge, reminding our customers about this, how to get started, information. MTD for income tax. That's been deferred and deferred, but we've got to address it now. It is arriving. This is a way we can actually produce reports out of the system to interrogate that data. So again, it's trying to help you get the most out of the software. This post on the 3rd of February, it is a bit ironic. You've just finished the tax season. You don't even have a week to recover. And we're posting about tax planning for 2025. The reason why we do it so quickly is some things, that you need to do or not to do. So we need to share this information. Now, a lot of you are going to be familiar with a lot of this, but there's no harm in the right people in your team getting this information. So things like the data requests for the next season, the links to the digital tax account. Most of you, I'm hoping, are aware of this functionality and getting the most out of it. But again, if you're not, there's click here for full details. Reporting out to personal tax. If Rachel Reeves announces some change in the legislation, you don't have to sort of think, oh, which of my clients are affected. Watch this for short video. I think it's 12 minutes long, and you will have the ability to create a report to get that information at your fingertips. And then what we are focusing on today is that tax return bundle and letter. And as Bally has said, it's a free feature. We really want to encourage our customers to use this. Customers that do use it say it saves a lot of time, there's efficiencies. And if I click here to get started, this is going to take me to our product help area. So there's lots of great information at your fingertips already on this information. So that's tip number 1, groups. Tip number 2, again, coming from my support portal, is my learning portal. And again, I'm hoping some of you will know about this. This has been, it's constantly being enhanced and evolved. If I go into all courses, focusing on tax, of course, today, I do appreciate this does look a bit busy because our suite is comprehensive. I can search for things, but we have a tax section. And this is really useful. People forget about it if you're an experienced user, but if you get a new starter, rather than sort of them just work it out on their own or a colleague spends a few minutes with them, there is, for example, a personal tax fundamentals course. Now it's nearly 4 hours long, but of course it's not one long boring video. It's lots of sections, bite-sized videos. We've even now got a certification exam, and we can make it more professional. A manager can say to a colleague, please watch these videos. You can track their progress. They can see their progress. They can get CPD accreditation points. It's trying to make it a lot more professional and useful. And again, on focusing on the tax return bundle, in here as well, there is a small short course, 40 minutes. This isn't about configuring it, and I'll talk about configuring the bundle, but this is really just some basics. But again, it's useful material. And for those experienced users, in the additional learning area, we have a lot of content here, but focusing on personal tax, a whole range of bite-sized videos, and some of this is great. That reporting one is 12 minutes long, farmers averaging in niche area. I haven't watched the hints and tips, I should watch those. You'll notice there's a tax return bundle page break. So when we talk about the configuration, it can get quite involved. And, unlike Word, which we all know how to do a page break, obviously in this system, it isn't Word, but it's Word-like. But there needs to be a short video on how to do a bundle page break. And there is also tax return bundle one. Now, like all tax rules, there's always an exception. Most of these videos are bite-sized and, 5 minutes long. This tax return bundle one, if I can find it, that video is 1 hour, 38 minutes. So, it's a recording, it's information, it's not interactive, but there is that content. I know some of you would say to me, oh, I don't have the time to watch that. That's fair enough. I'll talk about options, but this is the information that is currently available. So that's tip number 2, the e-learning. And finally, tip number 3, which I'm hoping some of you will benefit from. If I go into Central, it's interesting, surprising actually, some personal tax users, 10 years plus don't know what I'm going to show, but I've got a few tabs open, and most of us have more than one monitor these days. I can right click and detach, and I can move that onto another monitor. So I could have tax on one screen and accounts on another, or maybe I could open up 2 years of different tax years for the same client and have them on 2 screens. So that's quite useful, that detaching. Also, this main screen, I'm in personal tax. Hopefully everyone's comfortable with this. This tax calculation screen is very useful. It's showing me what I've entered so far, and obviously the tax being calculated lower down. Now it's quite subtle, and you probably never clicked on this, but you'll notice there's these 2 buttons here. If I preview this SA302 data, it opens up as a new tab. And if I was to detach that, I'm not going to move onto another monitor, but I'm just going to keep it minimized. This detached area is live. So let's give Georgina a pay rise. She's got a good salary already, but let's make that pay rise cover a £10,000 pay rise, you'll see that detached screen in real time updates. So when you are doing sort of tax planning scenarios, or considering to pay a dividend or whatever, you can kind of do it this way, see the impact. You're not having to make a change, run a report. So that detach and preview is a little hidden gem. Okay. So focus today, tax return bundle, and that, my role to assist the account managers and to assist customers is really to encourage you to get the most out of your software. And I really want you to embrace the tax return bundle. And this is the right time of year to do it. So what is the bundle? I'm in a client, Georgina Campbell. So this is the scenario where the return, I'm the senior, I've done the work for Georgina. This is ready to go either to my manager or to the client. And it's the clues in the title, it bundles everything up. It's all about standardization. I know some managers think, oh, I don't want to be a standard letter. We can customize the letter. It's all about standardization and efficiency and, producing a professional bundle across my portfolio. So how do I run it? Simply, on my ribbon bar, I've got this icon, tax return bundle. And if I click on that, I simply click on create. I'll talk about the configuration in a moment. So if I click on create, it's creating the bundle. Now, my bundle for Georgina is 37 pages long, but it's made up of the SA 100, all the relevant pages, and she's got 2 employments, you can see property. I've obviously made her non-resident at some point. The schedules that CCH produce for the client to understand their tax return. And also in the configuration, it might be this tax season, you want to promote something in your practice. So you can create, add PDFs of promoting fee protection insurance or whatever. So you can kind of add things to this bundle. The key thing that it's really trying to help is this covering letter. So it mail merges the easy stuff like names and addresses. But the key thing is these numbers are mail merged. I haven't typed these numbers in. I can make configuration, changes specific to that client. And what I've done in my bundle, and again, the way you present it, you can be as creative as you want. But how I've done my bundle is I've included an appendix. So I haven't created this manually, mail merged, this has all come in. I want my client, Georgina, to know what to pay, when to pay, and how to pay. So it's a powerful tool. Now, configuring it is something that I'll move on to. This is sort of a relatively basic one. Let me show you one Blue Peter style that's a little bit more sophisticated, which I actually involved a colleague of mine, Austin. Austin, some of you might know Austin. He's part of the professional services team. He's the expert. He's the trainer. Let me just go to a slightly more exciting example. And what I like with this example, I've got options at paragraph. So I've added in a tailored paragraph regarding this client's gift aid donation and the impact on it. And I can make it personal. But what I've also done, I haven't made this red myself. When it comes to the payments, in personal taxes, you probably know I can add the tax payments. So I put in the tax payments. This client underpaid, that's why it's gone red. The letter has been designed to go red when there's an underpayment and it's flagging up, you appear to have underpaid. So, because obviously to calculate the correct tax going forward, it assumes that the full payments account has been paid, but it's flagging up that it needs urgent action. So this is all part of my letter. And remember, some of your clients are going to have quite complicated affairs. So when we configure it, it kind of addresses those scenarios and you decide the way paragraphs, how it wants to be presented. And then in this example, again, I've also got an appendix. again flowing in. That's gone red automatically. So this is just an example of how it can look. Austin and the consultants will have sort of ideas and options, but you can be creative as well. So let's just go back into Central. So just to give you a teaser today, so I'm not a trainer, and this, is something we can't cover, in 20 minutes. But let me just give you a flavour of where we go to start this process. Some of you are probably quite comfortable going to file maintenance. Some of you probably a bit scared of this, but essentially I go to file maintenance, tax settings, personal tax, and in here, tax return bundle. Now the bundle details is relatively straightforward. I've got my standard template here and I go to contents, and this is where globally I bring in, for example, my mail merge letter, which brings in the mail merge field, name and address. And most of you comfortable with mail merge, that should be quite logical. This is where globally I can add in an additional PDF document, for example, promoting something. You could have different bundle type templates. Okay, so that's not too scary. Again, as a way of introduction, let's go back to file maintenance. And I go to letter paragraphs. And this is where it can look a little bit scary. Some of you, I'm sure, are very techie. I'm personally not that techie, but this is where we do this. Now, you'll see lower down, we've got sort of familiar word type icons. It's not Word, but it's Word-like. For example, part of the letter where we've got the queries, you'll see this is where I can add in individual comments when I'm in the specific clients, and you'll see this line of queries I can edit. The user, your colleagues can edit this area. We've also got sections. This is right at the top of the letter, section A. And then when we go to these sort of payment areas, BR stands for business rules. And we've got mutually exclusive paragraphs. So the idea is, in your client computation, they're going to have different scenarios of income, and you would design business rules to say, okay, if they've got that source of income over a certain amount, maybe, bring in this desired wording that you want to see. And then when you run a client that has that source of income, it's going to bring that paragraph in. In this example as well, section X, that's the appendix. That's kind of like trying to show how I kind of create my appendix. So one tip I can give you, in my experience, when I talk to customers, is some people think of their most complicated clients and say, oh, this client's got Lloyd's income, how do I address that? I think the starting point isn't to think of your most complicated clients, it's to think about your bread and butter clients. 80% of your portfolio are going to have the standard sources of income, and focus a tax return bundle on that. It might not be applicable for every single one of your clients, but focus on the main ones. And that's my personal tip. It is achievable, and it is very doable. And let me talk about the options to help you get here. So I'll just close that for a second and go back to here. Consultancy is available. It is quite a complex process, this. You've seen the material, the guides in the system that we've got currently. Some of you might have your account manager, Dan O'Neill. I was speaking to him yesterday. He said to me he's had some customers recently that's taken half-day consultancy. So Austin, the trainer, will spend quality time with you and give you some training and get you set up, and then you will sort of finish it off. Also, Dana said to me he's done a full day's training, and that often is almost the end result is the produced tax return bundle. The key thing is talk to your account manager. They understand you. They know, your resource, your capacity, where you've got team colleagues that can get involved with this. They can offer you the best solution. Consultancy, self-learning, and also we are running a live webinar on the 23rd of April. And when the follow-up on this, you'll get details of that. And that's a great opportunity. It is only 90 minutes. So again, it can't cover everything, but again, it's a great starting point. Austin can take questions, and that's available. It is because Austin's the personal trainer that there is a small charge, but again, talk to your account manager. Tip number 4, bonus tip number 4. If I just go back to my help area. Webinars. If you're a member of those support groups, the personal tax group, you'll get drawn to these, but there was an MTD, Making Tax Digital for Income Tax webinar last week. And again, talk to your account manager for recording. I would recommend, hopefully some of you are on it. I know there were some problems because we were oversubscribed, but get the recording of that. And that was a series of 4. So you want to be learning about Making Tax Digital for Income Tax. In here, that was our one today, sort of our free one. And then that's the one on the 23rd of April, which is the expert. And you can register there as well. So I trust this has been useful. It is just a taster. It's an overview. As I said, there's a lot of the material there. Speak to your account manager. Often the account managers get me involved as well. So whether it's health checks as well, where we understand what you're doing and try and get the most out of your software. Now, ordinarily on this process now, I'd get to the tax return bundle. We produced it. How do we then share that with our customer? I could print it out and put it in the post, which is very, very expensive, and we wouldn't want to do that. I could email it to my client. The evolution is to put it into the portal, use client portals. So we have CCH OneClick message and documents, and I'm sure a lot of you might be using that.
I welcome everyone to the OneClick section of today's webinar. And just to go over what OneClick is for those who may not know, OneClick is a secure portal where your clients can receive information from you in an encrypted ISO 27001 secure system, which is fully GDPR compliant. So you can send your clients messages, documents, approvals, or in this case today, the tax bundle to sign off. We've found practices that do use OneClick save between 10 and 15 minutes per return over tax season. So if you've got a few hundred returns, you can then quantify that into hours, into 30, 40, 50 hours, just within January alone. And that's if only they use it for the tax bundle and the tax returns. If you use it throughout the year for various other things, be it accounts, be it payroll, as we do have advertise OneClick as something just to think outside of the CCH box. You can save a lot of time by using this system. So where OneClick lives, it lives within the message center on the client file. Now, if you don't use OneClick and you click on Message Center, it will ask you to speak to your account manager, who will arrange OneClick to be set up. But you can see here it lives there in my screen between tax and addresses, although your screen may look a little bit different. So I click on Message Center, and in this scenario, I want to send out a standard approval to a client for our tax bundle. All I need to send anything is to go to our top ribbon, which is Create Message, and that draws up the dialog box to send a message or a document or approval. Very simply, I can select the client, attach a document, be it from our document center or anything locally. I'm just going to select the black tax bundle we've just created. We're going to file this for the client. So allows them to put their hands on things that little bit easier, and hopefully reduces down on some of the questions you might receive on a regular basis about payments due, for example, or liabilities. So they can just put their hands on it when they sign into OneClick and self-serve. I'm going to put on here that require a very quick approval. I'm going to click OK. So that has created that tax bundle, attached it to this message, and is going to ask the client for the approval. I can then type out the body of the message, or I can select a template that I've created within CCH to speed up the process even further. That template has got some basic mail merge functionality in there, so you can see, for example, my name's been included on the message, and also so has the client's. I can just basically now send that off. So you can see here, I haven't had to leave the secure environment of CCH at all to send that over to the client. You can even see on the left-hand side of the screen any historical messages that I've received or sent from the client. In this example, here to the left, we sent out some accounts. If I scroll to the bottom of the screen, we can see the initial message, the document. We can even see that the client's read this. So unlike Outlook, where you have to click yes that you've read the read receipt, the system can tell you whether the client's gone in and viewed a message. Supplanting that, we can see we've got an audit trail of the approvals that the client's created for us. So the client's approved the document and it's sat on the client file as an audit trail of that approval. And not only do we have that audit trail on here, but the actual document itself would be timestamped and updated for you to download within the message center. Or if you're using Document Center, it would be sat on Document Center as well with the updated approvals. What I'll do, I will just put my client hat on. And as you can see, I've logged in as the client and I'm looking at the email that I've sent from my accountant. So in this case, it's called Bennett & Rowe. It's suggesting that we should log into our secure portal to view the message. We just click on the link and I've already done that as the client. So you can see it's all branded up with our practices logo. And within here, we have the messages and documents section. It's telling me that I've got a document to approve as a client. I can click in, see the message, because like email, everything that I've not read is in bold, everything's in date order, and if it requires approval, I've just got an exclamation mark on there as well. So I can click into here. I can download the tax bundle and read through it. And if I'm happy with it, I can approve and then press approve again. Now, once I've approved that document, my accountant needs to know that I have had that approved. And within seconds of that approval happening within OneClick, whoever has sent me that tax bundle to approve will receive an email in their practice box, effectively saying that the client has approved one or more documents for us. Please check CCH and effectively carry on with your workflow. So what you can do is just pop back into CCH and see that everything within this system has then been updated, so you can carry on with your workflow. Now, we do notify you a couple of ways that the client has done work. The firstly is the email, so you'll get an email notification of the work being completed. Also, if you're within the client file, very much like this example, you'll see the updates on the client screen. And within a few moments as well, you'll also see a pop-up, regardless of what file you're in the bottom right-hand corner, telling you the client's done some work for you. Now, we do spread these out over the couple of minutes just to make sure that if you've not in your own practice email and haven't received or hadn't seen that initial notification, that you will see one of the others as they are spread out over time. Another example of getting an approval from a client is just using our e-signatures. So again, we can select the client. we can select the document that we're sending. Again, in this case, we're sending over tax bundle. Again, we can file it for the client so they can put their hands on it at a later date. This time we're going to say we require an e-signature, and we can then just add the signatures to where we need them within the document. So once again, it will load up a document for us, and I can leaf through the tax return bundle and maybe go to the area where I want the client to sign. Oh, and in the bottom right hand corner, as mentioned, we have just had the notification flag up that the client did our prior approval. So I can just go through the areas that I might want to sign or get the client to sign. I click on signature, drag the signature to the signature box, click on date, and I can save and return. That's now been prepared and added to the document that I want them to sign off. I again can type in the context that I wish to have within the body of my message, or I can use the templates. I can send that out. Again, it reduces any risk of anything going astray because you're sending it from the client file, so it can only really go to the client. You're not using any third-party software. You're not using emails, so you don't have to check emails or anybody else's emails within the practice. You know, if other people are doing work, because it's all within CCH, you have oversight of what's going on. So that's now been sent over to the client. I'll just put my client hat on again. The client will again have an email saying that you've got something for us to sign. I go back into the messages and documents for the client. Again, I've got one further document to approve. Again, it's in bold, unread at the top in date order. And this time I've got e-sign, and I click on e-sign and it loads up the signature environment. Now, as the client, this kind of forces me to read through what I've been sent. I can fast track to the area where I need to sign. I can click in the box. I can change my signature if needs be, or upload something. Everything else is just click. Once I've done that, I click e-sign and submit. And that's all done from the client's perspective. So the feedback we get from practices who do use OneClick is it is a great time saver. As mentioned, 10 to 15 minutes per return, and that's just on the returns. We do try and get people to think outside of just the CCH box in sending information and approvals to clients. We have clients who use this system as well to send information to their accountants just by clicking new message and attaching whatever is required or requested by their accountant, and they can send those files directly to the practice, up to 20 files at any time. So a very, very brief overview of OneClick and how it interacts with the tax bundle and how it can save the practice quite a lot of time.
So I just want to say thank you. What we'd like to do, if you could fill out the feedback forms, if there's any questions, we will be sending the actual recording to you as well. So if there's any other members that this may be useful to, you can share it within the practice. And as Nick says, there are some additional resources. Hopefully the e-learning is a very powerful tool to get a lot of information out of there. We have the training chargeable session that Austin will be doing on the 23rd of April for a small minimal fee. And also if there is further, consultancy required, that will be chargeable, of course, but please contact your account manager for any further information. And we wish you a very good rest of the day and a good weekend when it comes to it.